Hello everyone and welcome back to another video, and yes, it was the Australian Grand Prix. Smooth operator. I will get to that in a moment, but first I'd just like to say, don't ever have Carlos Sainz on your karaoke team because you're going to fail miserably. Yes, oh my god, that was worse than your dad dancing at your wedding. It really was. That was terrible, absolutely. And he forgot his own words. I was like, Carlos, come on son, come on. But anyway, congratulations are in order for someone but not for someone else, because yes, Max Verstappen unfortunately had a problem. Yes! I'm sorry to cheer, but it's just nice for someone else. And of course, you know, he was fine. He didn't have an accident. It was, I believe, a brake failure with the car. Something like that. Anyway, you can smoke pouring out the back of the car, and it was game over for Max Verstappen. Yes. Now, before I continue, I'd just like to do a special award this week to Toto Wolff. Yes, Toto Wolff gets my special award. Now, this is the first time I've seen this. Apparently, he's had this since Bahrain, but unfortunately, because I only get the highlights, I haven't seen it before. But I did see it on the highlights when it cut to Toto Wolff, and he had WhatsApp on his little microphone cover. And I'll tell you what, I just pissed myself laughing. I really did. I pissed myself laughing seeing that. If that isn't a subtle little side-stabby message, I don't know what isn't. And well done to Toto. He's a very clever man. A very clever... We know what you're doing, Toto. We know what you're doing. And you are a very clever man. Yes. Now, last year, of course, anyone might remember, he had bows on his little indent at the front of his microphone. I think he's had bows on there for quite a few years now. But yes, suddenly, just for this year, it's magic. As if like Harry Potter has come down and waved his invisibility cloak or whatever it was. I don't know. I don't even know what Harry Potter is. And it's transformed suddenly into WhatsApp. Amazing. Why is it WhatsApp then? Well done. So my special award this week goes to Toto Wolff. Fantastic. Anyway, finally, the on-track F1 EastEnders was about the on-track action and not the off-track action. Yes! But unfortunately, the race was hyped to high heaven. I didn't get to see it until a lot later, but it was hyped to, and I was really excited. I thought, yes, finally we can. And yeah, it was pretty boring. It did have some incidents though. But the race as a whole was pretty much just as boring as the rest. But I have to say, it was the best race of the year. Yes, but that's a very short list, so yes. Oh dear, but you know, there's not much else you can say. It was the best race of the year so far. But yes, so there you go then. Maxi Boy was out, and the winner of the race was Carlos Sainz. Yes, in the Ferrari. Well done to Carlos Sainz. Now Ferrari I've got a huge problem, and that problem is Sir Lulu, who also unfortunately did retire from the race with a total engine failure. If you saw it on the replays, oh my god, the engine just went, nope, I'm out of here, bye bye. It didn't even sort of go blah 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 like they usually do. They sort of splutter. No, 1 minute it was on, 1 minute it was off. It just went blah. I'm done. No, I am no longer prepared to transport Sir Lulu. I am done. I am leaving the premises. Goodbye. Yes, so Lewis engine, total engine failure for him. And here's the problem. Carlos Sainz, as he said, is out of a job next year. And he's just won the race after recovering from having his appendix out. And after qualifying, he said he'd just done enough to get the job done because he still wasn't 100%. Yeah. Okie dokie then. So what is going to happen with Ferrari? They have got a huge problem. I'll tell you what, I wouldn't be surprised if now and in the future races they're going to be looking at Charles Leclerc and thinking to themselves, should we just get rid of Charles and get Carlos to stay and then get Lulu in as a sort of support for Carlos? It could go that way. It could. I don't know about the contracts though with Charles Leclerc. He's probably got a rock solid contract, so that's null and void. But if he hasn't, oh my God, that could be a very interesting situation. But at the moment, Lewis Hamilton, apart from his engine complete failure, Lewis Hamilton is definitely underperforming in his season so far. He definitely has been, and it's not looking good. It's not looking good. I think Ferrari sort of signed him too quickly. I didn't think about it. I didn't think that, as the years were going on, that his performance level was dropping off. They just saw the name Lewis Hamilton and thought, yes. But now Ferrari have a huge problem. They really do. Because this is reminding me of Damon Hill. When he actually won the World Championship and he'd already been fired. He'd already been fired at Williams, but he was, on target to win the championship in 1996, which he did. But he'd already been fired. He was fired, I think, at the middle point of the season in 96. I'm pretty sure it was the middle point of the season, yeah. But he started to continue to try and win the championship. So he was a world champion at the end of 96, but he was also fired, which is kind of what's happening with Carlos. I don't think he's going to be the world champion because, of course, you got Maxi Boy in the way, but he's going to be very much up there at the end of the championship, and then he's fired. Yes, and we still don't know where he's going yet. Everyone is just playing musical chairs and just thinking, oh yeah, he's probably going to move, and but no one knows, and no one is prepared to come out and say exactly what's going to happen. And Toto has said he's waiting. He's waiting to see what happens with Max Verstappen. He's going to wait and see what happens with Max Verstappen before he makes a decision. So it could be pretty much at the 3/4 point of the season before he actually makes that decision on that final seat. I'm pretty sure he's going to have to make it before the end of the season. Otherwise, that's going to be disastrous going into the winter with nobody knows who's going to be driving for Mercedes in that second car. So he's going to have to make a decision at some point. But he can't leave it until about the 3/4 mark, I think, before he's got to decide. Because, of course, you've got all the contracts to sort out. So if he doesn't do it then, it's going to be a real mess trying to get that sorted out during the winter. So, yes, a real problem for Ferrari. It's, they've got too many good drivers. That's the problem. Too many good drivers, and they're just about to sack one. Well, they have already sacked him. I mean, he's winning races and he's unemployed next year. I mean, it's ridiculous, isn't it? If you think about it, it's absolutely ridiculous. But anyway, so there you go. Carlos Sainz won the race. Just looking at the results, actually, of the race, Carlos Sainz won it. Of course, Charles Leclerc was in second place. Lando Norris, great performance from him in the McLaren, getting up into third position, so he got a podium as well. Oscar Piastri once again playing the team game, letting Lando Norris go past because he had the best chance of getting more points. So well done to Oscar's pastry. Sergio Perez, bit of a middling race for Checo, has to be said. I didn't see any sort of standout performance from him, but he did pretty decently. Fernando Alonso, now this is very weird. I believe he's got a penalty for his incident with George Russell. I believe he's got a penalty. I can't understand why. But anyway, that had to be worked out with the FIA at a later date. But yeah, he's got a penalty apparently because of the incident with Russell. And the incident with Russell, I will get to in a moment. Then we got Lance Stroll, finished just behind him in 7th place. So a great result for Lance in the sister Aston Martin, of course. And then, of course, we got Yuki Tsunoda, who finished in 8th position. What a great result for little Yuki. As anyone knows, as a regular viewer of my channel, I have great respect for Yuki Tsunoda. I think he's absolutely great. I hated that team orders the other week when Daniel Ricciardo bullied him out of the way with his passive aggressiveness. I don't like that kind of thing. As I said, if you wanted to get past him, he should have just raced past him and be done with it. You don't need all that shit. But so yeah, well done to Yuki for getting 8th place. And where did Daniel Ricciardo end? And oh look, he ended up in 12th position. 12th position. Yes, no points once again for the big white elephant of Formula One, Daniel Ricciardo, the honey badger. Nico Hulkenberg finished in 9th place, Kevin Magnussen in 10th. Great result for the two Huskars. They were doing really well. Alexander Albon finished just outside of the points. I'm not quite sure whether that strategy of swapping the chassis and what have you quite worked. I think they should have just... I know they were going for the best chance, and possibly Logan Sargent wouldn't have finished in 11th place, but we will never know. We will never know what would have happened there. So, you know, but I just think that the swapping over was probably not the best idea, but I can see why they did it. Obviously, they have to do, you know, their best driver, so I can see why. And so Daniel Ricciardo was 12th place. Pierre Gasly, Mon Dieu, Pierre was in 13th position. Valtteri Bottas in the first of the kick Saubers was in 14th. Guan Yu Zhou was in 15th. Esteban Ocon in the Alpine was down there in 15th place. And then, of course, we had George Russell. It finished in 17th place. Lewis Hamilton and Max Verstappen didn't actually finish the race. So let's finish up then with George Russell. Yes. Now, literally just before I've come on to record this video, I've just seen the onboard radio between George Russell. Now, I'm just going to play this clip. It's going to be very, very quick because this actually comes from the official Formula One YouTube channel. So hopefully I don't get censored for this. So I'm just going to show this very, very quick clip of the moment after George Russell crashed the car and he was sitting in the car for only a few seconds. Only a few seconds, but I'm going to show the clip and here it is right now.
Red flag, red flag, red flag. I'm in the middle of a track. Okay. Red flag, red flag.
Red flag, you got Stroll.
Red, 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 red. I'm in the middle. Red. Why so long?
VSC. Called a VSC. Tsunoda.
It's too long.
6.
You okay? George, you okay?
Yeah, I'm okay. I'm in the middle of the track, half upside down.
Hulkenberg now 6.
George, lad, I've got to say it. You were being a right pussy there. You really were being a complete and utter pussy. Apart from anything else, okay, he is sitting in the survivable shell, okay? Every year, they chuck those shells straight into a piece of concrete, or a piece of concrete comes to, I can't remember which way round it goes, but a piece of concrete comes towards those shells in the crash tests. Okay, that's why they're called survivable shells. Everything around the shell can disintegrate into a million pieces, but that bit where he sits is supposed to be called, that's why it's called a survivable shell. So he was actually in the safest place he could be in, sitting in that car. Okay, now in my opinion, he completely overreacted. There was no reason for a red flag to come out, you know, that quickly. It was, I mean, it wasn't that they couldn't see him. He was up on his side, wasn't he? So everyone could see him there. So it wasn't that they couldn't see him. And they did, but, you know, they got those yellows out very, very quickly. It was only like, I was watching just that clip and it was seconds before the yellows came out. Seconds. And even Toto sort of, you know, came out and went, George, are you okay? As if to, you know, just to question his sanity for a moment. Now, unfortunately, I just feel that George panicked and he was probably thinking about Billy Monger just for a moment there. You know, that was a totally different circumstance, of course, but I think just for a moment he was thinking about that. But you know, my question is, if he's that worried about his safety, why is he going around in a Formula One car doing 200 miles an hour? It's a very, you know, dangerous thing anyway. And you can't, I don't know, you can't worry about something like that. I mean, yeah, all right, he was, you know, on his side. You can class it as a dangerous position on the circuit, yeah. But as I say, those yellows came out very, very quick. Very, very quick indeed. And as I say, the cars behind, they could clearly see where he was. And as I say, he was in the safest place he could be in that survivable shell. It was if he'd have got out, he could have been in problem. If he just tried to get out of the car and he got hit by one of the other cars, that would have been a serious problem. So staying in that car was exactly the right thing to do for George. And he just come over at such a pussy. Now, this overreaction has come from George Russell before. If you remember when he hit Valtteri Bottas when he was in the Williams, and you know, it's just he come out really quickly and said, "Oh yeah, it was all Bottas's fault," and it overreacted really, really quickly. And then after he calmed down, he realised that no, it was actually his fault. And so this is not the first time that we've seen rumblings of George Russell going a little bit too far. And unfortunately, this is what I'm sort of weighing into the fact that he's always going to be a good driver, but he's not going to be a great driver. He's not going to be a team leader at Mercedes. He's going to be a great number 2, but they need someone else in there to be the number 1 driver, because sadly I don't think George Russell is it. As I say, he's a good driver. He is a good driver, but he's not a great driver by any stretch of the imagination. Definitely not a great driver. So yeah, I just thought, what a pussy. What a pussy, honestly. Oh my God. You know, it was just ridiculous. I could see Niki Lauda up there looking down at this race and going, you know, calm down, lad, calm down. Nothing happened, you know, it was fine. It really was. So yeah, that was just, you know, what I thought about when he's sitting in that car, really panicking, you know, saying red flag, red flag, red flag, red flag. And it wasn't necessary. I know Formula One's a very dangerous sport, and we have had some very serious fatalities. I do realise that. I'm not trying to make a joke of it. All I'm saying is, in that situation, I think he really did overreact to what was going on, because, as I say, those yellows came out very, very quickly. As soon as the yellows come out, the race is neutralised. You know, everyone has to slow down quickly. And as I say, he was on his side. You could clearly see him because he's actually higher up in the air because he's on his side. So it's not like he's, you know, normally when he's got like sort of a low profile, he was on his side like that. So anyone coming around that corner would clearly see, as I say, and they'd be slowing down anyway because the yellows came out. That was just my opinion anyway. But there you go. But apart from that, the rest of the race was pretty average. As I say, it was hyped up on the internet, and I was really excited. But nah. But anyway, my driver of the year goes to Carlos Sainz, who, don't forget, of course, had his appendix. Now, I do believe the appendix weighs a few grams. So that's obviously helped with his performance, because he's got less weight to carry now. So yeah, that's probably helped him quite a lot. So well done to Carlos. As a joke, by the way. I don't know how much an appendix weighs. It's probably nothing, but you get my point, because he was really pushing Maxi boy before. But of course, unfortunately, Max had his problems from very early on, because he was saying that the car wasn't responding very well. So Max clearly had problems. But even so, Carlos seemed to be right up there, even though Max got past him, I think, after the first couple of laps. But anyway, so there you go. That was, yes, the Australian Grand Prix. As I said, the best race so far. But it's a very short list. And unfortunately, now Maxi's car has failed. That probably means that it's not going to fail for the next 20 races now. Now, another thing I'm thinking about is, are we going to see some unreliability this season? Because this is what I'm thinking, okay? The development on those engines was shut off. I can't remember what year it was. I think it was it 2021 or 2022? May even be earlier than that. I can't remember. I know it's like a 6-year shut off for the development. So we're almost at the end of the cycle of these engines, because we know that new engines are coming in 2026, which are going to be radically different. And I've spoken about that before. So we've got a year and 3 quarters basically of these engines. So are they now, because as you know, engineers just love to develop things to the max. You know, they need to squeeze as much performance. Are they now pushing them too much past the max? Yes, and you know, and I mean, these engines must be getting a little bit long in the tooth now. Obviously, you know, it's the same power plant they've started with. They just haven't been able to change the design because the development of it is locked off. But, you know, we're talking about a design now from like 3 or 4 years ago. So as I say, is this now reaching the end of its development sort of life? And now we could get some unreliability, as the engineers are now pushing these engines far further than what they were designed to be pushed to like 2 or 3 years ago. That's my theory anyway. If that's the case, we could be in for a very exciting season with car failures. Now, of course, we've had 2 in this race with Maxi Boy and Lewis Hamilton with his absolute total failure. That just made me laugh. I was like, it's like, no. Oh, dear. It was like when your laptop becomes completely unresponsive and you just go, oh, fuck it, and pull the plug out and it just goes, because you can't be bothered anymore. That's exactly what happened to Lulu. Yes, he just went, nope, I've had enough. So yes, that's my theory anyway. So we could be in for an exciting season with unreliability, because this is what we wanted. We didn't get it last year at all. The engines were bulletproof, absolutely bulletproof, but we could get some this year, which is going to make the championship exciting, especially if some of the leaders in the lead happen to not finish. So that's going to be great. Anyway, there you go. I've been rambling now for almost 20 minutes. Thanks so much for everyone for watching. Let me know in the comments what you think about what I've said about the race at Australia. Did you enjoy it? Did you think it was rubbish, boring, or whatever you want? And what do you think about Toto with his WhatsApp microphone? Do you think that's funny? Do you think that's been planned? I think it's definitely planned. Definitely planned. It's just, I mean, why would he suddenly switch from Bose to WhatsApp just this year? No. You're a tinker, you are. You're a tinker, Mr. Wolf. You're a tinker. You really are a tinker, aren't you? Anyway, there you go. Thanks so much for watching, everyone. That has been, in a nutshell, the Australian Grand Prix. I'd just like to end by saying, don't cry, George. Don't cry. What a wuss. What happened to the F1 drivers of yesteryear? What happened to the Sennas and the Prosts and the Lauders? You know, they had a constitution of iron. What happened to them? They're just all a load of Nancy boys now, aren't they? All a load of privileged Nancy boys. They really are, with a few exceptions, I will say. But most of them now are just unbelievably entitled. That's what I like to say. Unbelievably entitled. They really are. And George Russell is just, boo-hoo, boo-hoo, red flag, bring out the fucking red flag. Unbelievable. Thanks, everyone, and I'll catch you in the next video.